Hey everybody, happy Sunday night. Hope you've all had a great weekend. I have been on a little sabbatical, so haven't been in the comments or been around much since Thursday. It's just been such a mentally exhausting 2 weeks with content with the interviews that I've been doing, some of the conversations we've been having, and then just my personal life too has been, hello. Hi, you're the first one. I had a conversation with my daughter the other day about how I needed to forgive somebody, like Erica Kirk had forgiven. And it turned into a Charlie Kirk conversation, and it turned into, Mom, I'm so heartbroken that you're an atheist. And it turned into my daughter not letting me spend her birthday with her. So I took a couple days off and just sat in a little breakfast spot eating way too much French toast. Oh, you're the combat vet that commented on. Hello. Hey guys. Yeah, you guys, thank you so much. Okay, I'm gonna have to put my reading glasses on because I am a grandma and I can't read the comments without the glasses. So no time for forgiveness. So I believe in forgiveness, absolutely. And I think there's always a good time for forgiveness, but I also think it's time for us to start drawing some boundaries. All of us. And I think that we really need to start drawing boundaries around what we're going to let the leaders at the top do. I'm kind of tired of being triangulated against people in my own community. I'm so glad. You guys, thank you. That means a lot. I think that we all need to kind of find each other, right? Like we need those support systems. A really interesting thing about my life, and I didn't choose a lot of the things in my life, I was just along for the ride. It's been interesting to have, like, I'm called Life Take Two because I had two very distinctive lives. I grew up in an ultra Orthodox, extremely conservative religious family and community where everybody around me was members of my church and my family was super hardcore. Like they weren't just like go to church on Sunday type of people, they were intense. My family was intense, my community was intense. And so that's how I grew up and that's how I lived my life. And then when I left my community and left my religion, I then kind of, well, I mean, I lost everything and rebuilt an entirely different life. I have a lot of friends who like leave their religions and stuff and then they just find a different religion and they're kind of the same. That's not what happened to me. I had a very different experience. So you guys, thank you so much I appreciate all of you for your stories, for your support, for the ideas that you give me about things. And I'm really grateful for the 100,000 subs. It's been just a really beautiful thing to see all of the comment sections. I have to say that ever since the inauguration, honestly, like inauguration, have you guys ever thought about a president more than we're thinking about a president right now? I don't know, like I didn't think about Joe Biden that much. I didn't hear about him that much. Every once in a while there'd be some news program. Yeah, religious trauma is a real thing. It absolutely is. But ever since Trump's inauguration, like it's been kind of a hard journey. I feel like we've been pulled through a lot of stuff. And my YouTube and seeing some of the comments, some of the conversations going on, and just the other people that are out there. Like I know my neighbors, I know people in my own community. I have a couple of social media clients and stuff that I work with. I know that there's good people out there, but being on YouTube and being in my comment section and seeing the way that you guys interact with one another and the support that you are to me and hearing the stories of things that you guys are doing out there in the world is absolutely remarkable. And it's funny that I'll hop on and people will say, you give me so much hope. Like, thanks, Jenny, for the hope. But it's like, but I got that hope from you. Like, I put up a video and I see 1,000 comments from people sharing their passion for making the world a better place, sharing their love for each other. And that gives me hope. So if I'm giving anybody hope, I'm just like, not to be cheesy, but it's kind of a reflection of this community that we're all part of. Absolutely, I agree with this. Here, okay. For voicing out my concerns, so it's all hands on deck to save our country, is absolutely all hands on deck right now to save our country. And what I had a friend today that I was talking to. He's actually Spencer. He was Blacksmo over on TikTok. He's one of my former Mormon friends. And oh, what was that great quote that he gave? He's like, we all have to buy into that we can no longer just sit back and be comfortable. We're going to have to cash out our comfort for change. That's what it was. I need to actually write that down because I need to stick that into a video and I'll forget it by tomorrow. It's time that we all kind of cash out our comfort for change. I think that everything that we're going through right now as country, we are seeing that there's a lot of division. And what does that change look like? That change looks like rebuilding our relationships with our neighbors, rebuilding our relationships with one another, with family members, and standing up for the future that we're handing our kids. I am printing some shirts that are like, I think we went with scatter toxic empathy. Did we say scatter? I don't even remember. So the toxic empathy shirts are coming out. Yeah, mucho bueno. Thanks, Remus. I've been on a little 3-day sabbatical and I didn't realize that I'd hit that 100,000 followers. So I hopped on from the hotel one day just to kind of read some comments and say hi. And I almost started crying. Yeah, I did. Thanks, guys. Thank you, everybody, for subbing. You know what's funny? Some of you who've heard me talk about this before, sorry, I probably get repetitive, but my channel over on TikTok, where I have like 400,000 followers over there, was mostly just about leaving religion. It was about religious deconstruction. It was about my ex-husband, not being a trad wife anymore, kind of rebuilding my life outside of religion and stuff. I've never talked about my politics for 2 reasons. First of all, I am not educated, and like I have an associate's degree from a Mormon college. So I never felt comfortable talking about my religion or talking about my politics, like political ideas or anything like that. And also, I didn't think that anybody cared. Like, why does anybody care that I left MAGA and that I used to vote for Donald Trump? Maybe there's 3 reasons. I was also really embarrassed. So I took a break from YouTube in, what was it, like August? I was off of YouTube for like a month and a half. And the first video that I did, I had gone to a Democratic town hall, and it was the first Democratic event that I've ever gone to. I've only left the Republican Party 2 years ago. And I really didn't think that anyone was going to watch that video. I thought probably like 500 people are going to watch this video because nobody cares. Who cares that I left the MAGA party? So I posted that video, and like a day and a half later, I clicked into my YouTube and I was like, oh, hey there. And thanks for the super chat. I appreciate it. Yeah, donating to PBS is always a good thing. Great tip. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, thanks everybody for hitting the live button. Yeah, it's been a crazy ride. Yeah, so I put that video up, and it's so funny. Do you guys know why I posted that video of the Democratic town hall? Because after being off of YouTube for 6 weeks, I was like, I am so tired of talking about the Mormon church. I am so like, I'm just kind of personally over religiously deconstructing because I've already deconstructed, and I don't want to talk about just religion all the time anymore. And I thought, I filmed this video at the town hall, and I just thought it was kind of cool. And Gabby was so inspiring just to see her stand up and address the crowd. And it was a standing ovation. It was really beautiful. So I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to do this little video just because I have it on my phone and I thought it was cool. So thank you everybody for thinking it was cool. I had no idea. I think that we all have to be activists right now. Oh, thank you. That's so sweet. Thank you. Thank you. And how do we get involved? First of all, let's start little. Let's, pull the financial rug out from under the billionaires. Shop local in ways that you have never shopped local before. So I did that this weekend. We go to the farmers markets. I actually bought myself a necklace today from, this is a Navajo artist here. How do I take the thing off the stage? I'll show you in a second. Shop local, support your local farmers. Let's pull the rug out from underneath the billionaires. Targeted boycotts are amazing. And every one of our Congress people should be hearing from us all the time. I downloaded ChatGPT on my computer. I'm such a grandma, like I don't have all these things. So I have ChatGPT now, and I asked ChatGPT for the the email of all of my Congress people. And I've been emailing my Congress people. I've been emailing the White House. I've been emailing Congress people in the state next to me. I've been emailing everybody. All of our elected officials should hear from us. It's time to make sure that we know if there are special elections coming up, anything that's going on politically. We need to be politically active in ways that we never were before. And I also think it's time for some of us to start stepping into leadership. Get your political science degree, get your law degree, even on a local level, Parks and Rec, run for mayor, just go to school board meetings. For the first time in my life, I have been working with a group called Secular Arizona, and I've been going to school board meetings. I went to one to oppose a church seminary building that was going to be built inside of the campus. So for me, like, that was an unprecedented act of political activism. I've never done anything like that. Yeah. ABC, et cetera, capitulated due to their wallets being hit. Companies only follow the money. Absolutely. So let's continue to boycott ABC. You know, it's funny. I love ABC News because I feel like they're a little bit neutral, and I just like some of their reporters. They don't seem super inflammatory. So that's one that I used to watch, and I have not watched them since Jimmy Kimmel off the air. So food from food trucks are still cheap, very nice people, lots of variety, would help locals every single time. Hey, that's a great tip. Hit more food trucks, because the food trucks are locally owned. Those aren't corporations. We've eaten out of 2 food trucks in the past 4 days. So we were up in Phoenix for the weekend on a little sabbatical. I had a Sonoran dog, horchata, absolutely amazing. It's a breath of fresh air to see that people can actually be freed from the lies that hate promulgates, no matter how hidden and pervasive it can be. Absolutely. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. One-Eyed Gray Fox, I love your handle. I do have to give the caveat, though, that for me to change into the person that I am today, the reason that I'm called Life Take Two is that I lost everything and hit absolute rock bottom. So one of the biggest questions that I've been getting on my channels is, how do I help? Like, my mom, my sister, my cousin, my son just joined MAGA, whatever that thing is, everybody has somebody in their lives, or just, the world at large. Like, I'm really worried living in America. There's so many people around me. How do I help them see the light? I saw the light because I lost everything. My husband abandoned our family. I was sleeping in my car. I lost all of my money. Then I tried to take my own life, and I was homeless. So I don't think, if I had had a really easy divorce, if I had had an easy life, if I had had an easy time transitioning out of my religion, I might still be just as bad as I ever was. I had to change because I lost everything. And honestly, like, that experience too helped me see the other side, because all of a sudden now I'm this atheist and I see the hate from the church people that I had heaped on everybody my whole entire life. So unless somebody has the same experience that I had with, like, hitting rock bottom, I don't know if they can really see the light. And a lot of my other friends who have religiously deconstructed and politically deconstructed, kind of the same thing. Like, they lost everything. Their whole family shunned them. Their wife divorced them. Their life was terrible. So then they decided to wake up and kind of try to see things in a different way, right? Thanks for the super chat. It's so fun to come on lives and see everybody's handles up close and personal. Been addicted to your videos lately and been learning a lot of new things about MAGA. Being addicted to my videos comes with inherent risks, so don't overwatch. Keep some balance. But thank you so much. Thanks, guys. Oh, you're from Portland. Hey, I spent part of my life in Portland. I don't think that I've talked about it a ton on my YouTube, just because it's kind of irrelevant to the things, but my dad was actually a Portland boy. So that's where my family all is right now. Like, most of my family is in Portland. So I've spent lots of summers on the east side. I've wondered, and I don't have any contact with my family up there, because since I left the Mormon church, they all disown me. Haven't driven around there to see if the homeless have disappeared. Anyone been around the bottle drop on Gleason? Yeah, my dad grew up in the Hawthorne district, and I lived in Happy Valley So I actually graduated from Centennial High School out in Gresham, and all of my siblings, my brothers and sisters, all my nieces and nephews are out there in Portland. So you guys, thank you so much. Yeah, if anybody's in Portland, hello, South Australia. Yeah, thank you, Misfortunes are right. So Kathy, there are two main things that make us change, right? Because as humans, we don't want to change stuff. I want to live where I live. I want to eat the same food. I want to drive the same way to work every day, right? We're creatures of habit. Humans are creatures of habit. And there are two things that will cause us to change our routine. One of them is inspiration. So like maybe you go to like a Tony Robbins conference and you get all fired up about something, or you watch a movie or read a book that really like, you're totally inspired, right? Like you see the Mormon missionaries knock on your door, you get some inspiration. Inspiration will cause you to change. It'll cause you to change everything. You'll eat a different food. You'll move to a different house. You'll change everything up because you've had that epiphany. Sorry. The other thing that inspires us to change, or that causes us to change, is rock bottom. You lose everything. You hit rock bottom, and then you start to change things. If your life is pretty good and you don't have any type of inspiration and you haven't hit rock bottom, we're not going to change. And I've definitely seen that. I have a lot of friends in the ex-Mormon community, post-religious, ex-evangelicals, ex-Catholics, all, that kind of genre. And almost everybody has either a story of inspiration or a story of rock bottom. Otherwise, we don't change. So yeah, you got to think your misfortunes. Yeah, so I have a video that I need to edit. I'll get that up tonight for you guys. So stay tuned tomorrow. I shot a video right after the shooting this morning. That has absolutely shaken me. Every shooting shakes me, but just to be able to picture what the inside of the building and what that feeling is in Mormon church on a Sunday. And I've stayed off the news. I'm still kind of on my mental health sabbatical this weekend just to kind of reset. So I've stayed off the news. I haven't seen what else is going on or what else they've found, so I don't know any motives or anything. Are any of us doing all right? Like, that's the question. Are any of us doing all right? So my partner, Kev, I'm an atheist, and Kev is a Christian, and Kev is on the worship team, and I love going to church and seeing my honey on stage. He's an incredible singer too. Like, he's so good. It's really cute. I'm a little bit biased, but Kevin's amazing. And even though I'm no longer Christian, I love to go to church whenever Kevin's on the worship team. Everybody at the church knows that I'm just there to fangirl on Kevin. So I saw the news of the shooting 15 minutes before I was walking out the door to go to a huge megachurch. And I was scanning as I walked in the door. They always have police officers out there. I was scanning, making sure the police officers are there and everything. The fact that we have to feel afraid when we walk in the door of a church is horrifying. And it's not that complicated to get to the bottom of things. Mental health care, gun control. This was an assault rifle. Building back our communities. When humans are in survival mode, we tend to harm one another. Daily beans. Here, I'll make a note. Here, let me go through some comments. Reading with curiosity and an open heart will always help. Another way of supporting. Oh yeah, buy from used bookstores. We have a really great one here in Tucson. It's called Borders. It's amazing. No, Bookman's. Borders is a chain. Bookman's. And read in public. Isn't that sad? Like, we're in the middle of a cultural revolution. Great advice. Read in public. Thanks, Nikki. The 100,000 subs is because of you guys, not me. So thank you for the 100,000 subs. I appreciate it. Portland is a war zone, apparently. I've been to actual war zones. Portland is not a war zone. So I don't understand why we're deploying. And I've been on a sabbatical since Friday morning, so I haven't had any news on. I don't understand why we're deploying the military to our cities. I think that it's an act of just making us all feel. Oh, I love St. George. Hi, Lindsay. I grew up in St. George. People ask me all the time, when I'm moving back home. I hated it there. I don't want to move back. So St. George is so beautiful, but it's definitely that bubble. Like I grew up in that bubble too, where everybody was exactly the same and there was just so much judgment and everything. Yeah, St. George is beautiful. Lindsay, after I got divorced, my first long-term relationship was with a guy from St. George. So I was up in St. George all the time hiking Snow Canyon. So beautiful. Uh, Thanks, Jan. I appreciate that. Yeah, if you're new to me, my Mormon family when I left the church, so I've done some videos on how I shunned and disowned one of my cousins who came out as gay. And I keep trying to find time to do a follow-up video to that because then when I left the Mormon church, my family shunned me. And this past Christmas, I had just moved out of my uncle's guest house. My uncle had a guest house in his backyard, and that's where I moved after my divorce when I was homeless. I went from homeless to my uncle's guest house that was abandoned and what do you call it? Vandalized, like it was completely thrashed. And that's where I lived after my divorce. And I lived there until, I guess it's been about a year and a half. So this past Christmas, I still had some mail that was going to his house. And Kev drove me over there on Christmas Day. And the whole entire cul-de-sac was filled with the cars of my family members. And I was not invited. Kevin and I and our kids were not invited. We just had Christmas alone. Did we eat at the Waffle House last year? So what I did, karma. I don't believe in God, but I believe in karma. And what I dished out to members of my family who left the church eventually came back to me, and it hurts. It really hurts. It's so hard. Jenny, you and I have come from the same background. I would enjoy having a conversation with you when you have time, I believe, or I'll reach out to you via email. Anyone who's trying to get a hold of me, I don't have an assistant at the moment. It's all me. So email me again and let's chat. I actually have Kevin out working on responding to some of my emails right now, and he's been out there for 4 hours. So everybody from Portland, how are you guys doing? So B Cubed, were you out like in Eastern Oregon? Where were you? All the Oregonians, like, man. Yeah, thanks. I feel like the people on my page, the people on my channel, you guys are like the nicest people on all of social media. Like I watch other people's videos and I'll go through their comment sections and I don't feel like people are as friendly. I don't know. I feel like my subscribers are like the nicest. I actually love getting into the comment section in the morning. Like first thing in the morning, I wake up and I sit down and I try to go through some comments and I absolutely love it. Thank you for gifting some memberships. Left the Mormon church at 30 in 2019. It was so hard, but it was always the crazy liberal Mormon girl. You were always the crazy liberal Mormon girl. You asked too many questions. I love that for you. I left a year before you and I was 44. So it's so hard. It's funny how when I left the church, and I'm sure that those of you who've left religion probably feel this too. A lot of your friends are like, yeah, you're free. This is exciting. But all I felt was confused and terrified, like, oh, there's no God. And I don't know if I'm ever going to see my grandma again. And I just lost my whole community. And it's really disorienting when you lose the foundation of your entire life and wake up and are like, oh, yeah, my religion, like everything about my whole entire life was a lie. It messes with your head. It's definitely really hard. Okay, Senator Como Freaks motion. Where did I put my phone? Kevin plugged it in for me. Okay, Kevin's acting as like my assistant these days. He's so great. This week, make sure that you are subscribed and that you're following what's coming up. I am on a couple of radio shows. I'll post those. I'm going to be on Midas Touch. He's over in the Ukraine right now, but I think maybe October 10th. I'll be on the Midas Touch Network. And this week I have Robert Arnold. I have the public offender coming back. I'm going to go be, bleh. I'm sorry, guys. I can't talk. I'm going to be going live with, I love this guy, and I'm going to drop his video tomorrow. His name is Chris Volpe. I posted about him this week. He's a school teacher from Ohio who's running for J.D. Vance's Senate seat. He is one of the coolest people of everybody that I have talked to in the past 6 months. And I have so many people reach out to me. I've done so many podcasts and so many interviews. I love talking to Chris. He's just an everyday Ohio guy. He's a school teacher. He's lived a fairly successful but very lower middle class type of life. He's just kind of your everyday Joe, and he's an everyday Joe who, like, I kind of picture him like Superman, you know? He's just your everyday little guy, and he wants to change the world. So I'll be going live with him. I have a video that I did, or an interview that I did with him this week, but I'll be live with him this week. Oh, I love Ashland, the Shakespearean Festival, and that sulfur, the drinking fountain that has like what makes that water taste like that? There's this drinking fountain and it tastes like baking soda, like sulfur, and it smells like rotten eggs in the middle of Ashland. The Shakespeare Festival is top notch, 10 out of 10. What part of Arizona are you from? Yeah, inspiration is great. Rock bottom for you. Yeah, you guys know, like, when you've hit that major change, like, let's say you're married and then, you hit divorce. We don't just wake up one day and be like, I'm tired of this like average marriage that's, kind of making me happy. Either it hits rock bottom or you have inspiration somehow. I think that inspiration is often like some of my friends like have affairs like, oh, there's another woman, so they leave. Yeah, Five Alarm is amazing. Thank you, thank you. I probably don't shout you out enough. I think that I need stronger reading glasses. My eyes have been getting so bad this year because even with the glasses, I'm still having a hard time. European white male, social democrat, atheist here. Mwah. So far, I'm loving all of this. Have watched The Handmaid's Tale, and I see very many similarities on what's happening in the U.S. What's your thoughts on that? So I left the Mormon church. Thank you for asking this question. I left the Mormon church in 2018 and then went right into Christianity, and I was still a Christian nationalist. And when I first started watching The Handmaid's Tale, I actually remember thinking, this is not a bad idea. It'd be kind of nice if we had an all-Christian nation. And of course, The Handmaid's Tale gets darker and darker as you go along. There is nothing that I've watched, nothing that I've read, no podcast that I've listened to, no theater that I've gone to where I've seen a show that has triggered me more and given me more panic attacks than The Handmaid's Tale. Because that is what I wanted for America. And not necessarily like the whole fertility thing and the women who are actually the handmaids. That was, to me, that just seemed totally off base. But everything else, yeah, that's what I wanted. I wanted the United States to go back to being a completely Christian nation where we were run by a theocracy. So yeah, that's what I wanted. Not quite so dark, not necessarily all the like matching uniforms and everything, but oh, well, thank you so much for being one of my OGs. I'm super hot. Thanks, HW. That's sweet. Yeah, this country is plagued with way too much gun violence. I don't think that we need assault rifles. So, Nikki, it's a lot to happen in one day. It's a lot to happen in 1 month, in 1 year. So I'm 51, and I have to say that all the time because not everybody realizes that like I'm actually like a grandma, and I've been around. I've seen a lot of changes in life. I don't remember a time in my life prior to the pandemic, except for September 11th, when I felt more unrest. Like for most of my life, and tell me if you guys feel like this too. For most of my life, I have felt like I may have my own individual problems. I had an ovarian tumor. I had, fairly terrible marriage. Things happen. One of my kids would like break his arm or something. Like there were things that I went through on an individual basis, but I always felt like all was right in the world. Everything was just, America is a great place. This is a wonderful time to be alive. I felt that. I felt like this was an amazing time to be alive. Since the pandemic, I just feel like everything's going to hell in a handbasket. Do you guys feel like that? Does anyone else feel like that? Is that just me? So it's not just that it's a lot to happen in one day. We just constantly have like one thing after another thing. And I feel like none of us can get our feet out from under us. Cristobal, that's a really cool name. Ex-Catholic here, being from a Franciscan order, a hippie-ish, new wave-ish order. That sounds very appealing. Actually helped in breaking away from the faith. And the friars even helped me. Interesting. I like that. Thank you. I'm going to do some more live. So I have at least two coming. Actually, I have three coming up this week. So I'll be live with Robert Arnold. I'll be live with Christopher Volpe, who is running for J.D. Vance's Senate seat in Ohio. And I'll be live with the public offender. So this week I have 3 lives. Yeah, thanks so much, you guys, for all of the subs. I didn't do anything to get to 100K. That was you guys. So thank you so much. So Annie, 56, who's still a Christian and doesn't go to church now. Jesus didn't go to church, right? Like, where was Jesus on a Sunday? He was sleeping in the back of a boat. He was out healing the lepers. He was doing stuff. Jesus didn't say, if you're going to follow me, then let's build a big old building and we're going to have some popcorn and a coffee shop and donuts and we're going to have electric guitars and smoke and whatever. And not to take away from anybody's churches. I'm not doing that. I am a big believer in having space for people to make decisions that are authentic to them. And if religion brings you peace without hurting other people, then please engage in it. But I always wondered, why are we doing this? You open up the New Testament, and I'm an atheist. I don't believe that Jesus was God, but you open up the New Testament and Jesus wasn't sitting in a church. There was no smoke. There was no guitars. Jesus was out there doing stuff. And he didn't tell his followers, let's build a church, let's build a temple, let's pitch in a bunch of money so that we can do this every Sunday. He literally told them, go ye into all the world. He didn't gather them on Sundays. He sent them out. Go out there. Heal the sick and the infirm. That was the church that Jesus organized. So to me, as an atheist who used to be a Christian, and before that was a Mormon, I just think that we need a new Christian revolution where all of the Christians actually open up their Bibles and see what Jesus said and say, Jesus wasn't in church on Sunday. He was actually doing stuff, and then do that. That's what I do as an atheist. Yes, 5-alarm fire is absolutely amazing. Thank you so sorry, I just didn't have my glasses on. Thank you so much for gifting those memberships, and I appreciate that so much, and I will start doing stuff with the memberships this week. I have a whole strategy on somebody who's helping me with some membership videos, and the book club drops on Monday, so I'll be announcing that book. Everybody jump on that. I'm working with a publisher. She's a female publisher. It's a small business. They produce all of their own audiobooks. I mean, it's a substantial publishing company, but she's not a corporation. And she's incredible. The publishing company is incredible. So I will do a video tomorrow announcing what that book club is. The first month is completely free and there's no strings attached. It's not like it's free, but then the next month you have to sign up and pay for the book. Their audiobooks are going to be 50% off for our book club books. And then with that 50% off every month, and it's just a month by month thing. If you do the book club and you get that 50% off book, then you're also going to have a list of things that you get for free. There's going to be all kinds of other little books that you can listen to throughout the month. And our book, which I'll just give you a little bit of a hint. I decided to go with something feminist focused, and it's a really beautiful, inspiring book. So I'll drop it on the 1st. You guys have the whole month, and then we will have a live chat. I think I'll actually do it. How am I doing it? My tech guy is going to figure out how I'm doing that, but we'll have a book club meeting. And please, everybody join that because it gives you the chance that first month to get a free book with absolutely no strings attached. So 5-alarm fire, thank you so much. Thank you for support. Thank you for your enthusiasm. I'm just so glad that people out there like you exist. And thank you for gifting memberships. That's incredible. I was raised Mormon, left at 18, became a Baptist, born-again Christian, left that church, and now I'm a spiritual agnostic. That's all I got. Thanks, Nikki. I left the Mormon church in 2018, broke up with Jesus 2 years ago. Now I'm an atheist. From LDS, living in Tucson. Hey, Tucson. It's the prettiest little city in the world. Thank you for your service. Thanks for the super chat, Shanti. Appreciate it so much. And you guys, if you're just hopping on, thank you so much for the 100,000 subs. This is a funny thing. I'm really shy. I'm not tech savvy. And the only reason I started doing what I was doing was to warn other people. I don't even consider myself an influencer or a content creator. I consider myself an activist, and my social media is my form of activism. What am I an activist for? I am an activist for equality, for rebuilding our tribes, for humans falling in love with each other again. I'm kind of a dreamer. Like, I picture a little bit of a utopian world where we can use some critical thinking and modern technology to actually build a beautiful, thriving global society. I think that that can happen. I think that we have to fight, not fight. I think that we're going to have to work to get there. But I believe in that, and I think that we're not as far away as we think. Oh, sorry, I clicked on the wrong thing. The shooting is 2 hours from me. It was the church my parents went to before moving to St. George. I am so sorry, and I haven't heard any follow-up news. And I kind of don't feel like I want to. I just don't think that I can even handle it tonight. And I'm so sorry for anyone that is involved or up close to this in any way. Thank you, Sunset Kids, sending everyone love and light. We need more empathetic communities like this. We do, so let's build them. Let's build them. Church online since COVID. It's half MAGA, and I just don't know. So, Kathy, maybe like just let go of church and get out there and do stuff. I enjoy a good sermon once in a while. Today I went to church. I'm an atheist. I went to church because Kevin was on the worship team, and Kevin's hot. He has an amazing voice. So I go to fangirl on him whenever he sings and show my support. So I went to Preston Church today, and yeah, I took something out of the message. There was a beautiful lesson about listening to your own heart and tuning into your intuition and stuff, and it was really beautiful. I just stripped the Jesus part out of it. So I do certainly like occasionally to go and gather with other people. Even as an atheist, I like to be part of a congregation of people who are trying to make the world a better place. Now, I don't always think that their methods for getting there are helpful, but I love their intent. There was not a single person in that church that I personally know today who is there to do anything but learn how to be better people and help others. But sometimes I think that it's time for us to get out and start doing stuff and not just go to churches on Sunday and feel good about ourselves. Like, I don't know, do that once in a while if you need to, but I dedicate my Sundays to helping people. I'm an evangelical, and my parents were in a cult when I was kids, but left when I was very young. Yeah, cults are so fascinating. They just say so much about human psychology. Thank you, Buffalo Skinner. Thank you for helping me get to 100K. That's really sweet. Buffalo Skinner, I'm a Campbell on one side. So part of my family is German, and then part of my family is Scottish. My dad is half Scottish, and my grandma's maiden name was Campbell. We Canada have a lot of Yankee friends. Well, yeah, because like Canada and America, we're all in this together. Yeah, we're all worried every day too. Canada, please help us. It's simple. Trump wants to display authoritarian power to his political foes. ICE and federal facilities do not need National Guard protection. Yep. Yeah, don't you guys just all feel like this is scare tactics? Have you guys ever seen a president that we thought about more than Donald Trump? I know I was just talking about this a minute and then I got sidetracked. With Joe Biden, occasionally something would happen, and then like President Biden would give some little press conference from the Rose Garden. Like Donald Trump the first time around wasn't even this bad. Think of any president in the history of presidents. I was born right after Nixon was impeached. So I grew up in Jimmy Carter era. You didn't hear about President Carter every day. You just didn't. Ronald Reagan, every once in a while, something would make the news. Every single day, every single one of us hears about what Donald Trump is doing. He is the most ultimate pick me person. Am I wrong? I was in downtown Chandler on Saturday. Were you in downtown Chandler on Saturday? I bought myself a new pair of cowboy boots. It's my first ever cowboy boots. I'm wearing them right now, literally. That is not a joke. Hold on. Hi. Hold on. Hold on. Here we go. They are so beautiful. Okay, let me tell you the rationale behind the cowboy boots. First of all, I have a social media management company, and one of my clients is a cowboy business. So I have to have some cowboy boots, right? But secondly, I feel like as an atheist, feminist, liberal, I'm trying to look a little bit more like MAGA. I want to confuse them. I've ordered some American flags that I'm going to start like flying in my car and stuff. Thank you so much. Five Alarm Fire is amazing. Violations of posse regarding military on U.S. soil. Yeah, bittersweet. I don't know anything about any of that stuff, but man, I just feel like that's not legal, but I don't know. What was the process mentality you went through in changing your path? Oh, that's such a hard question to answer. So the reason I left the Mormon church is that one day I went to church, and a lesson in the women's Sunday school class was entitled The Evils of Homosexuality. And I had made friends with some lesbians. So I had these people in my life who, for the first time, like, oh, I actually have some lesbian friends and they're really nice. And that class just shook me. So 10 minutes in, I raised my hand and I said, this lesson is really horrible. And I can't believe that any of us are sitting here listening to this. I come to church to learn how to love people, and this is just pure hate. I don't come to church to hate. So I'm leaving. I'm going and getting my kids, and I'm leaving the church. And I literally did. I walked out of class. It was super dramatic. I texted my now ex-husband and I was like, hey, meet me by the drinking fountains. We're leaving. And I never went back to Mormon church. So I left because I recognized the pure hatred that I was feeling in the middle of a Sunday school, and it just shook me. I've had so many people, because, like I'm on social media and I do interviews and stuff. I've had so many people ask me, and even like my therapist, like, what made you leave that day? I don't know. Like, in a way, I almost feel like I had been steeped in this community that always had enemies, right? Like, everybody was my enemy. The non-Mormons were my enemies, and the Democrats were my enemies, and the communists were my enemies, and the Mexicans were my enemies, like the Baptists were my enemies. Everybody was my enemy, right? And I feel like that day in church, I had just reached my hate quota for my whole entire life. And like my hate bucket was full and I couldn't handle any more hate. And so I walked out. And the thing is, I could have gone in a bunch of different directions, right? A lot of people, when they leave a cult, will join another cult. And I sort of did. I went into like a hardcore Christian community for a little bit. But my life is what is today because I lost everything. I hit rock bottom in my life. Take two is because I lost my home. I lost my husband. I lost my dog. I lost all of my possessions. I lost my whole entire family, and I was forced to start over. So, like, that was really hard. It was incredibly hard to go through. But there's this kind of magic thing that happens when you lose everything, right? You have to rebuild. And the second time around, like by then I was 48 years old, I had to very carefully rebuild. And this time I'm like, I don't want to hate people and I don't want to feel miserable all the time and I don't want to live in fear. So how can I intentionally be a kinder, better human? So I don't know. It was such a process. Oregon is so beautiful. Yeah, everybody think Five Alarm Fire. That is so sweet. Hello, Janice. Okay, to all of my subscribers for the 100,000 that I just hit without even knowing it. Yesterday morning, I woke up and that's where I was. So thank you, everybody. Thank you. I didn't get there on my own. You guys are the ones who subscribed. I'm just over here making videos about stuff. So my father's a hardcore MAGA guy, and it's very hypocritical because he's Hispanic. So that boggles my mind, right? It's like Roach was ready for raid spray, LOL. Our relationship is definitely strained. The thing is, when you have this diabolical leader at the top, Trump's a tough guy, right? And he's telling everybody that he'll give them what they want. So I think a lot of people latch on to him just because he's the tough guy. You know, it's like hanging out with a bully on the school playground. Yeah, he's a little asshole and he's beating everybody up. But hey, like if I form an alliance with him, then he's not going to beat me up, right? And I think that that's a mentality. That was part of my mentality with Trump. Even the first time around, he was a jerk. He said terrible things. And I voted for him in 2016 because, first of all, I thought that he was the Lord's anointed. So I thought that like I had seen the mantle of Jesus descend upon him. But also, right, like if you can't beat him, join him. Right? Like my granddad, that was one of my granddad's sayings. If you can't beat him, join him. And I think a lot of people think that. Like, I'm going to join Trump's side and then he's going to protect me. But then he doesn't because the guys turn on everybody. Hey, thanks for the super chat. That was really awesome. Appreciate it. Okay, I appreciate your content so much. Also, I work with the Life After MLM podcast, and we need a Save from Mormonism by doTERRA Lesbians episode. Okay, will you please email? Kevin is now my email assistant, and he's handling my calendar. So email Kevin, and it's lifetake2jenny@gmail.com. So if you'll email and let him know that you'd like to schedule me for a podcast, he has that scheduled now. A lot of love for Portland, a lot of love for Michigan, a lot of toxic empathy going out towards Portland tonight on the airwaves. We need a little more toxic empathy, you guys. Yeah, well, thank you guys for getting me to 100,000 followers. So I had a subscriber from Mexico reach out to me this week, and she wrote me this huge comment. So if you're, I don't know, but she wrote me this huge comment just about how the current Mexican president, her whole focus is rebuilding those vulnerable populations and making sure that she's providing services for the poor. I don't know a lot about Mexican politics. I didn't know a lot about American politics. I was busy being a Mormon trad wife, so I'm not particularly educated on this, but it just made me think how America used to be like that. Like I grew up in a time where I felt like there was so much focus on just your everyday working class American that we were the ones that were supposed to be living the American dream, right? And I feel like in so many ways today, America is just for the rich. It is no longer, who wrote the poem that's on Ellis Island near the Statue of Liberty? Bring me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, your emigrants from yonder war-torn shore. Bring these, the tired, tempest-tossed, to me. Should I look that up really quick and read that? Our combat vets, I cannot tell you how many of the unhoused people just around me in walking distance that I take water bottles and sandwiches out to. I can't tell you how many of them are combat vets that we don't have any support for. You know, I'm going to look that up really quick. Yeah, let's take care of our combat vets. I will say too, I'm trying, because I used to always say, let's do this and we should do that, and somebody should do something about something. Now that I'm an atheist and I don't believe that there's a God who's going to come save us, I try to flip that to what can I do? And I can't do everything. Like I don't have the money, I don't have the time, I don't have the health to take care of the whole entire world, right? Cory Booker, I love that statement. I'm going to use that in my videos all the time. Don't let your inability to do something, or to do everything, sorry, let me say it right. Don't let your inability to do everything keep you from doing something. I'm trying to do something as much as I can. So I have a little homeless nonprofit called Neighbors Without Walls, and I started that myself, just started a little homeless nonprofit. And I just have 2 unhoused 26-year-olds that I help on a weekly basis. I buy them some groceries. They specifically ask for peanut butter and jelly, and they have a specific honey wheat bread that they like, and a little styrofoam cooler with some ice. And then I try to keep some cold water and stuff for them throughout the week. And I help maintain their bikes. So if they need new bike tires and things like that. So It's not a ton. It's not going to change the world. It's not going to end homelessness. But there are two 26-year-old guys who they're literally my neighbors. They don't know that I live right next to them, but they literally live in an actual tunnel, like a culvert under a bridge, just right next to me. I can't do everything, but I do that. I also have a couple single moms that for about a year and a half I was ordering HelloFresh. It's like a meal service. The trolls are always finding me. This week I had to report a couple death threats too, so they're always there. So do something. Instead of like, oh, nobody's doing anything, the world is so terrible. Well, do something. I don't know what that looks like. Maybe it's helping a neighbor because you don't have the money. Trump is already talking of backtracking out of deployed troops in Portland. Contacting me right now is tricky. I am so busy. Thanks, guys. And thank you again for everybody for subscribing. It means a lot to me. My in-laws are Mormon. Mother-in-law is an extremist, but tries to hide it. I tried to hide it. You know, what's funny is like, I tell these stories about white supremacy and stuff. Like I read my Mormon diaries and it's racist and it's so hateful. But my neighbors around me would have been like, Jenny's so sweet. Like she's such a honey, because I was baking them cinnamon rolls and cookies and we're having these big Halloween parties and stuff because I was trying to convert them, not because I actually cared about any of them. I was really good as a religious person at looking nice on the outside, but I had been programmed with a lot of hate, which is terrifying. You've helped so many people, so many more people than you've harmed. Well, we'll see. I'm not keeping a tally, but definitely we can just do our best, right? Well, thank you guys for getting me there. Recently subscribed to your channel. When I came across it, I subscribed because I remembered seeing a video on TikTok. Yeah, so I'm not even on TikTok anymore. Like during the election, I was doing lives in support of first RFK. That was an embarrassing time for it because this was my first election that I wasn't MAGA. And it was so hard for me to just be like, I'm a Democrat now. So first I had to like RFK was my training wheels. I was like, okay, well, what about an independent? And then he went a little bit wonky on me. So I just completely voted for Kamala. And I was doing all of these lives in support of Kamala, and my TikTok was taken down. 400,000 subscribers, and that was my primary source of income too. And it's just one day it's like your TikTok, it doesn't meet community guidelines. And I kept saying it was Trump. Trump took my Trump took my TikTok down. I swear by it. I stand by it. Any podcast suggestions, political or non-political? What do I listen to? I love Britt Hartley. I love secular Buddhism. And I know that that sounds really funny coming from somebody who's an atheist, but secular Buddhism takes Buddhist concepts and then just secularizes them. And things like, you know, self-awareness and taking a moment to just be exactly where you are. And I absolutely love it. So I love the Secular Buddha podcast. What else do I listen to? I listen to a lot of like history stuff. I'll do a podcast episode. Of course, the minute you ask me what podcast I listen to, I completely blank. Unfortunately, I spend a lot of time just listening to podcasts related to my content so that I can just make sure that I'm not saying the same stuff as everybody else. I love Oprah Super Soul. I'm more of a book girl. Oh, the Midas Touch Network. I love them too. And Caitlin, I'm going to be on Midas Touch. I don't have my calendar in front of me, but like October 10th or something like that. So, and Cameron, if you didn't hear, I am launching my book club on October 1st. In our first month, we're going to have a feminist themed book. It's kind of a classic, and it's going to be completely free on the Audible version that we're doing through the publisher that I've partnered with. So first month is on me. Hello. Thanks for sharing, guys. Yeah, I was really excited to do Midas Touch. I have some really cool interviews coming up, but I just, I love the no nonsense way that Midas Touch handles things. So I was really excited to have them reach out to me. Oh, good. Well, I'm glad that I've been informative. Well, of course. Okay, so here's why I'm more informative than the missionaries, because the missionaries are trying to sell you something, and I in no way benefit from telling you anything about the Mormon church, positive or negative. I'm just telling people what happened to me. So, yeah, actually reading the entire Bible leads to atheism. That's probably true. Why do you have spam? I love that. That's so funny. Love, love, love. Oh, a great podcast right now. Sorry. You know when somebody asks you something and like your brain just goes blank? So I'm going to be thinking of podcast now for the next half hour. Have you listened to the Year of Polygamy podcast? That's one that I think everybody should listen to just from a purely historical aspect, because the women who were caught in the polygamist system often get overlooked in American history. It's not like when you're in high school, you learn about the polygamist women and all of the things that they went through, right? Like, polygamy is kind of ignored. The Year of Polygamy podcast was done by, what's her name? Lindsay. Gosh, I've talked to her. I can't remember. She's the one who was the consultant for Under the Banner of Heaven. Anyway, she was a historian, and at the time that she started the podcast, she was a faithful believing member of the Mormon church, and she drew from diaries and all kinds of contemporary writings, and she takes one woman at a time and tells their individual histories and their stories, and then how they got swept into these polygamist systems. So she starts with like Joseph Smith's wives. I think there are 39 of them, and then she goes through Brigham Young's wives, and she goes all the way, like she has hundreds of episodes. I just think that it's a part of American religious history that everybody should know. She's really interesting, and I felt so connected to the women that she talked about. Like, it's, I don't know, it's a female history that not a lot of us hear about. So the Year of Polygamy podcast, absolutely recommend to everybody. I know, you guys, wish me luck on Midas Touch, because those guys are, they're witty. They're really good at what they do. Hi, Jenny. You and your channel have been the best find on YouTube. Oh, thank you so much, Kavita. I'm deconstructing from the right. Everyone else burning in hell. I never agreed with so many things. How many of us? I mean, isn't that just part of American life? Like, I don't know, up until like decades ago, 90% of America was Christian, and that was everything. Like, everybody's burning in hell except for the ones that aren't. So, Texas Paul, so grateful to find your channel. Well, thank you for finding my channel. Thank you for being here. Finding like-hearted and minded people these days means everything. I love El Paso. So beautiful. Stacy, I need to get Kevin up to Seattle. He's never been. So I have family in Portland. All of those of you that are in Portland, just know that a lot of us are thinking about you. There have been so many comments since I started on live here tonight about Portland. We're all really concerned about what's going on up there. Anyway, I've been trying to get Kevin up to Portland. I haven't had the money or the health to travel for so long, but hopefully this year. And I love taking that Coach Starlight train up the coastline into Seattle and hitting Seattle on foot for a couple days. Love, love, love. Pacific Northwest is so beautiful. You guys, America is such a beautiful nation. We have, like, it is so special. And I'll be damned if I watch it burn. I have friends who've already left. I have a friend who moved to Mexico City. He was a professor here in Arizona, and he took a job with a university down there to get the hell out of America. I have a friend who just moved to Finland, one of my son's friends from high school, and his mom. I have friends who are just getting out. I have kids and grandbabies. So I think it's time we stick around. Conservative Christian, but I find a lot of your videos refreshing. Ruby Sanchez, conservative Christians, and it's not even about that. It's not about the labels. It's not about conservative Christian. It's not about like woke, atheist, liberal, feminist. It's about who we are as people, kind, compassionate citizens who want to make the world a better place. I don't think the labels should define us anymore. So we all need to find those like-minded and like-hearted, and we need to come together with one another. So thank you so much. And I think it's the Christians who need to push back against the American Christian extremists. I went to church today with Kev because he was singing the worship team, and our pastor subtly called out some of the things going on in other churches and talked about how the church, different church, it's a church of love and compassion, and we're not going to be sucked into those things that other people are doing. It's not my job as an atheist to fight what the Christian churches are doing. Like, I don't even have a dog in the fight. That's not my world. It's time for the pastors to start doing that. Lithia water. Thank you. If you ever go to Ashland, Oregon, they have this drinking fountain, and it tastes like baking soda or something. Goodyear, Arizona is a very good place. My parents were intellectuals and atheists. I was brought up very left-wing and still am. With that, we still have things in common regarding marriage. Queen Creek is amazing. Where did Kevin take me for dinner last week? If you're in Queen Creek, did you see my video that I posted this week about, was that the last video that I put up about rich people don't care about you? And I drove around the pecan grove there where we had an off-front house. There was a young trad wife. Hello, Tampa, Florida. Battlefrog was terminated by the admin during January 1st, was a crucial part of ethics auditing team for DoD procurement, now have lawsuit and litigation against him. Oh, fascinating. Thanks for the super chat. Thanks, Five Alarm Fire. I had to turn down Midas Touch due to my profession. I'm going to have to jump off soon to mod for 2 other content creators. Yeah, thank you so much. And again, anyone who wants to get a hold of me, reach out via my email. I'm sorry, it's just been so hard to keep up with everything. So no, but by piece, I like, you mean like a side piece, right? I don't carry. And I had just learned about the tragedy in Michigan, right? Like, I was putting my shoes on, getting ready to walk out the door when I heard about that. So I was definitely uncomfortable walking into a church. So well, Brian, thank you so much. We're all in this together. I think it's just an honor. Thank you for saying that. And thank you everybody for subscribing. I think it's an honor to be a part of a collective of people who are doing their best to make the world a better place. I think it's beautiful. You guys always give me hope. I was raised Catholic, but balked early on, investigated many churches and religions, but realized in 2001 I loved mythology, but was actually atheist. You know, we don't have room to explore, right? Like, childhood indoctrination is so harmful. We grow up just doing whatever our parents tell us to do, and we don't have time to explore and see what we really like. Global dictatorship is here, and we're all in grave danger. Stock up on food and other things. Yeah, Kathy, I'm a little bit worried. I don't know. Are we all worried? Are we all worried? What other fellow YouTubers do I watch, if any? I love Cults to Consciousness because she helps me deconstruct. I've done Cults to Consciousness. I loved her for so long, and then she asked me to be on the show. So I love Shalise. I love seeing what other cult people do. When I'm on YouTube, here's how I watch YouTube. First of all, I love Midas Touch. I love Britt Hartley at sorry, what is she called? No Nonsense Spirituality, Britt Hartley. I should do a book giveaway. I have a couple of Brittany's books. I love No Nonsense Spirituality, but when I'm on YouTube, usually what I do is I search by theme. Like today, I want to learn about Renaissance foods. And so then I'll watch videos about Renaissance foods or ancient China, or I don't know. I just kind of randomly peruse YouTube for whatever comes to mind that day. So I only subscribe to a handful of people. Oh, I love, what's the patriarchy one? You guys know what I'm talking about. Not Death by Patriarchy. Breaking Down the Patriarchy. I love Breaking Down the Patriarchy. She's so sassy. She's also an ex-Mormon. And she's helped me learn so much. I also love Knitting Cult Lady. You guys know that I've had her on a couple of times. She's so great. She's helped me so much. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Appreciate it a ton. Yeah, well, thank you for helping me get to 100K. You guys are amazing. If my testimony scares the hell out of you because it confirms your fears, then you should be twice as scared as you are, because I do have to say that in my videos, it is really hard for me to, I guess, like tattle on myself, like wrap myself out. It's hard. On my TikTok, I was always shining light on the Mormon church. I was shining light on the patriarchy. I was shining light on my ex-husband, other people, right? When I started talking about leaving MAGA and shining the light on me, and like this, I have a racism video that I'm going to drop this evening. It is the hardest thing that I've ever done in my entire life. I hate every single video that I do. And it's really hard for me to even convey what was really in my head. So even in my videos, when I talk about some of my views on racism, when I talk about my views on non-members and people that weren't Christian and stuff, it is impossible. Like, I think that my video would be taken down if I just straight up read one of my old diary entries. You should be very afraid. Another scary thing to watch, Man on the High Castle. Oh, I watched that. That was really good. Is that on Amazon Prime? Man on the High Castle. Yeah, we were a never Christian country because our founding fathers, why are there no founding mothers, you guys? Anyway, our founding fathers knew that religion would tear us apart because it already had. Religion had ravaged Europe. It had ravaged the entire world. Religion had already ravaged the young colonies. They knew that religion could destroy America, and it is. Your loyalty, there's this little scripture in Christian mythology and in the Christian Bible about man cannot serve two masters, like God and mammon, because you'll love the one or hate the other. And that's so true. We can't have split loyalty. My religion made me loyal to Joseph Smith, the Book of Mormon, the living prophet, my bishop, the members of my church, my brothers and sisters in the gospel, Jesus Christ, Heavenly Father. And I viewed the American government, the police, the civilization around me as a fallen, corrupt world. It was the fallen world. It was Babylon. Religion pits people against the very community that we should be building up. And it's really sad. September 11th, I felt the country united. It did, because often when we have that hitting rock bottom and we have a tragedy, well, then now we're in panic mode. So we all have to come together. That's just our animalistic instinct. We have this threat. We're facing, this horrible thing that threatens our very survival. So what do? We lean into each other. Like, I don't care if you're an atheist and I'm a Christian. If you're a lesbian, I'm a Baptist who thinks that lesbians are going to hell, right? These people attacked us, so now we're all in this together. It's a survival instinct. Right now, we're being pitted against each other by the resource hoarders, and they have a vested interest in everybody being pitted against each other. Mormonism and the other things the average LDS is blind to is beyond cringe. Yeah, and I'm not, like, this tragedy that happened in Michigan today, which I've had to stay off the news, so don't tell me if there's new victims found and things like that. I don't want to know today. I'm not mad at the Mormon people. I'm not mad at my Mormon family. I used to be one of them. I understand why they think and do the things that they do. I'm mad at the guy that started the whole thing, Joseph Smith. Like, that's who I'm mad at. I'm mad at the leaders that promote it. Anyway. Thanks, Amira. Man, Gaza. So did you guys listen to all the stuff going on at the United Nations this week? That is where I started to have hope in humanity. Listening to the United Nations and listening to leaders of other countries. The president of Finland. Nobody's ever thought about Finland before, right? Like, it's not a major player in the world. And I want to move to Finland because the president of Finland was absolutely amazing. But listening to leaders of the world support the Ukraine, support Gaza, support, I guess not really supporting other people, but opposing suffering, opposing aggression, opposing things that humans should oppose was really beautiful. United Nations kind of gave me hope. Pickle, some of us, like, I just have chubby cheeks. I don't know. You're 54. You've never seen our country close to this. Yep, Shanna, 51. Never seen anything like this in my life. Never. And I mean, we've been through a lot of stuff. Like, I was a young mom when September 11th happened. We've been through all kinds of things. I've never seen anything like this. And it's because it's from the top down, right? When you have that one guy at the top and all of his cronies that are assholes, you know, George Washington, a little story that we all learned in like kindergarten, first grade about chopping down the cherry tree, and then he couldn't lie about it. You know, I cannot tell a lie. I chopped down the cherry tree. I'm sure that that story is completely made up, right? Like, it's this American mythology, but it's a really beautiful story. And that's what I thought of George Washington as a child, that he was this honest man who wouldn't even lie about chopping down the cherry tree. And he was such an example to me. I saw the leaders of the world as examples. Not that they always were, right? Like, some of them behind closed doors. This week, I had one death threat. I've had several this week. One of them, the guy word for word was quoting President Trump. He called me a vile vermin. He said all kinds of stuff that, like, this is stuff that's come out of the mouth of my own president, but then he adds the very explicit death and other threats of harm to it. So that was another one that got reported this week. And it's like, never before in my life have I received threats where they were quoting my president. It's a good time to be alive, isn't it? Recently watched a couple of your videos. Do you know about the Hebrew Israelites and what is Mormon church belief of brown, Black, American, and island people being the tribe of Judah? Yes. Okay, so just a little bit. As a Mormon, there's a passage in the Book of Mormon where there's a guy named Hagar, and he builds some ships and he sails away. And the Mormon prophet said that he sailed from North America to like Fiji and the South Pacific and the Hawaiian Islands. So the teaching was that all of the peoples of the Pacific descended from the Lamanites, who were originally from Jerusalem and then were cursed with brown skin for being unrighteous. So, yep, that's what the Book of Mormon is all about. I know that this sounds funny as an ex-Mormon, but I completely encourage everybody to get a copy of the Book of Mormon and read it. Go to Desert Industries if you live in the United States, and there's a DI, the Mormon Thrift Center, and try to get one of the older ones where they haven't changed any of the translation, because they've edited some of the newer editions of it. Yeah, Pickle Mickle, we have so many good things going for us. Again, we have this beautiful earth. Humans are amazing. We have so many innovations that make life amazing. The fact that I can put a little camera on my computer, turn on my microphone, talk to people in Australia and London, and I'll FaceTime my grandbaby tomorrow. The fact that we can connect with one another in the way that we do, the fact that we have so much medical knowledge. I know it's still like 100 years from now, they'll look back and they'll be like, oh my God, like they were like cavemen back in the 2000s. But we have so much technology. We have so much infrastructure. We have so many amazing things. I think that we have the capacity to have a beautiful, peaceful world. We have to get warmongers and the resource hoarders out of power. We have to pull the financial rug out from under the billionaires and limit their power. We have to pull the political rug out from under, you know who. Like, we all know who, right? On 9/11, I talked to a gent who was alive when the US declared war on Japan. He compared them and how the world changed. This is slow moving, but I think similar. Yeah, so I am 51. My granddad was in the Army when Pearl Harbor happened. So I heard about Pearl Harbor my whole entire life. And yeah, definitely like changed the whole world. Pantheism. I think pantheism is very honest, right? Because there are so many religions. In the United States of America, I heard there's like 400,000 different registered churches. There are a lot of people who have ideas about what God is, and we'll never know. I'm an atheist. I don't believe there is a God, but at least 4 people. Okay, I don't want to hear. Here, I'm going to click out of this. I don't have the emotional bandwidth to hear any more about the Mormon Church attack today. So you guys can read that. I feel like we're in a giant microwave oven being cooked so fast from the inside out. Yeah, it's hard to resist, but we have to resist. We have to resist. I'm going to have Robert Arnold on this week, and we're going to talk about some more specific resistance. I'm also on a radio show tomorrow. I actually don't have the name of the show in front of me. I did it 2 weeks ago. What is the name of this radio show? I will post it as a post tomorrow. We're going to be talking about my Velvet Revolution and some specific steps of resistance. Write to your senators. Vote out. Unite everybody. Volunteer for campaigns. We have to take back power politically. We have to take back the White House. We have to do everything we can to stop this from happening again. And run for office. Get your political science degree. Go get your law degree. Even if it's just a local involvement. I've been volunteering with a group called Secular Arizona. I've just been going to some school board meetings to oppose some things just in local school boards. I've been going to town hall meetings. I donated $10 to a campaign for a new congresswoman here. Sadly, I felt the danger of televangelicals. I've never heard that word. Oh my God, that's a really good word. Televangelicals. I've never heard that. That is so appropriate. Hi, thank you so much, guys. Yeah, giving speeches about eyes of needles. Nothing is the same since COVID. Yep, medical care is impossible. Customer service sucks. I feel like the whole world kind of fell apart. Okay, I keep looking on. Yes. So I will absolutely lean more into activism and actually doing things. So I have joined some groups now. I'll be making some announcements here in the next couple of weeks about some things that I'm doing, but I'm hoping to connect us to more activism. One thing that I've done is I just took a position with a company that builds homes for domestic violence survivors. So that's something that I'm doing. I'm working on all kinds of different things where we can actually make a change in the world. It is interesting just being on social media and doing videos and stuff like, oh, I feel like I'm doing something because I'm connecting a community, I'm sharing ideas, I'm helping to make this little bit of difference. But you can also feel like you're just like floating around in outer space, right? Like it's just my voice and my image on a camera. I want to actually do something with my hands, right? So I am leaning into towards some more solid activism, some calls to action, homework, things that we can actually do to change things. So yeah, Jesus was completely woke. I like to call him Yeshua because that was his actual name. He was so woke. Like he was the wokest guy ever. My late grandmother could recite the Bible from memory, but later in life she left the church. She said religion had nothing to do with the teachings of Jesus. Amen. Your grandma was right. Does Christopher support Palestine? I don't know. You can certainly go to his website and ask him. I would imagine that he does, just based on the conversations that I've had with him. So I actually like Jesus. I like the part of the Bible that is attributed to the Rabbi Yeshua. I think that if there was a religion, here's your homework. Somebody start an actual Christian religion. Oh, I'm going to have Jim Palmer. Do you guys know Pastor Jim Palmer? He was the pastor of one of the largest evangelical churches in America, and he had a faith crisis while he was a pastor, walked away from the church. You can read his books, Inner Anarchy and Jesus in Nashville, are a couple of my favorites from Jim Palmer's collection. Jim Palmer lived in Nashville for a long time, Pastor Palmer, after he left the Christian church. And he decided for an entire year, I'm going to do just what Jesus says to do in the Bible. And, you know, like somebody asked him for something, he'd go the second mile with him. He took the Bible literally, just the Jesus part, not Paul, not all of that jerky stuff at the end of the Bible, right? Just the Jesus stuff. And he wrote a book about it, Jesus in Nashville. And he's going to be on later this week. I don't have my schedule in front of me to talk about what actual literal Christianity would look like, not the Americanized, weaponized version. So yeah, if somebody wants to start an actual Christian church, Lots of Christians. So you're part of the nuns, the NONESs that don't belong to a church. I live in the South, and we have some really strange ones, even scary at times. I lived in South Carolina for a while. That's where most of my Christian nationalism and most of my active white supremacy was in Arkansas and South Carolina. And yeah, some of the churches were wild. Okay, so here's your homework for all y'all that are like, I don't go to church and the actual Bible says this. You guys are the movement. Start just speaking out against that. And somebody start an actual Christian church. That's a good question. Kathy, I'm glad you asked me that. I do believe that there might have been a historical rabbi named Yeshua because I feel like there was probably something behind the Bible. Like, I don't think that it was just a myth that somebody made up, like a legend. I don't think it was just fictional. I don't believe that he was God. I don't believe in God. So I view him as more of a philosopher. If Yeshua did exist, I view him as more of a philosopher. And I really like him. I have to say that, like, when I was Mormon and when I was Christian, I really didn't like Jesus. Everything that I learned in my religion just made God seem like such a jerk, right? Now that I've left religion, I do read. I burned my Bible in my backyard fire pit, but sometimes I get online and I read little bits of the Bible. Sometimes it's for videos that I have to lift things from the Bible. And when I do, it's like, I really like this skinny little Jewish philosopher, Yeshua. Like, he was remarkable. And if anyone actually listened to him, if he hadn't been filtered through Rome and the Byzantine Empire, if he hadn't been filtered through the Vikings and all of the conquerors, right? Like all the conquistadors and everything, the Catholic Church. If the message of that man hadn't gone through all those filters, he could have changed the world. I think that the philosophy of Yeshua still could change the world if anyone would actually lean into it. I'm Hebrew. I don't believe in Jesus' name because he was used to make slaves obey their master. A slave ship was named Jesus of Ludwig. I believe his name is Yeshua. I believe in Yah, the Most High. Thank you for that comment. Not in the US, but I joined my community's accessibility and equity community. That's awesome. Yeah, let's join more things and actually do something. My friend Spencer today of Black Smoke over on TikTok, he's a Jamaican former Mormon, one of my favorite friends. He said that we all have to cash in on discomfort a while in order to have change. We have to cash in on discomfort to make a change. And I think that that's true. Like, we need to stop just watching Netflix in the evenings and get out and work in a homeless shelter, work in a rehab center, help single moms, do anything that we can. We've got to turn this ship around. It's almost like, don't you guys kind of feel like we're on this global, like, Titanic right now? But imagine being on the Titanic and you actually have sonar and you can see that there's an iceberg like 20 miles down the way, right? And we have the ability to turn the Titanic around and miss the iceberg. We're on the Titanic right now, but like, we got to paddle and correct course, and that's going to take action. I don't think that now is the time to just sit back and relax anymore. I think we all have to get out there and actually do things. So thank you. Yeah, who else here isn't in the US? Do you guys, if you feel safe doing so, then will you drop where you're from? I always love to see where people are from. I live in Arizona. Do I feel safe? I haven't felt safe ever since coming to social media. I don't know if I read your message. Five Alarm Fire, thank you so much. If you need a mod, I can assist. I mod for several content creators most at the same time. Do you have my email? I think that you do, right? I know. Well, I think I've blocked a lot of trolls. I have blocked hundreds of people in the past couple of weeks. Like, I've just been blocking the heck out of everybody. So, but yeah, they always come up. lifetaketwojenny@gmail.com. I think that you've already emailed me before, but email me again and talk to me about modding. Pretty much all organized religion is patriarchal. They didn't used to be, because fertility and birth, the creation of life, was one of the most miraculous things that human beings had. Like, just imagine for a minute, okay? Imagine living primitively before the scientific method, before ultrasounds and all of the medical technology that we have today, and sex, baby, boom, right? We've just created life. That was the most miraculous thing that there was. So the oldest religious relic on earth. Does anyone know what it is? If you do, drop it in the comments. I'll tell you in just a minute. Thanks, guys. Yeah, book club. I'll be announcing everything October 1st. Thank you. Watching from, I love Buckeye. Gretchen, my niece is named Gretchen. Did you guys get tons of rain up there? I've been up in Scottsdale all weekend and it was like wild. Welcome to the other side of Christianity. So the book club, I'll be dropping a video, and this is not an exclusive group. I am promoting education and learning in every way that I can. So I've partnered with a publishing company. It's a female-owned publishing company. They're absolutely incredible. I vetted all these other people that wanted to partner with me, and I decided on this one just because I absolutely love everything that they do. The first month, it's going to be a free book. There's a little app. You get the audio download, and it's totally free. There's no strings attached. Nothing about this book club. I don't make any money off of it. I literally don't get anything for this. I'm not being sponsored by the publishing company. I'm doing this so that we can all educate ourselves as an act of resistance against the people who are trying to keep us from being educated. So that's it. Like, there's no strings attached. You guys might not notice, but I don't do sponsorships. I don't like my message. I'm an activist. I don't like my message to be promoted by people. I actually had a rep from Walmart who's been trying to get me to work with them on sponsorships, walmart.com. And I wrote them back a huge email and said, oh no. So they've reached out to me multiple times. Their reps have been trying to get a hold of me. They have these incredible offers. And I said no, because I'm not going to support a global corporation that has put so many other small businesses out of business. Not that I never shop at Walmart. Like, sometimes I need cheap toilet paper too. But anyway, so I do not, there's never strings attached to anything. So the book club is going to be free. And the end, I'm going to have to do it before Halloween, or maybe like the 2nd or 3rd of November. But we will actually have a book club meeting and we'll talk about the book. And on the 1st of the month, I will announce the book for the month. So moving forward, after the first month, which is free, every download will be 50% off. It's super affordable. We have the next 2 years planned out. I think I've picked out some really incredible books. So just stay tuned for that. It'll be October 1st. Strange how little non-Mormons know about the LDS and how no one really focuses on the corruption that was uncovered 2 years ago, right? I do. So, well, thank you, Mars Mello, for helping me get to 100K. Thanks, guys. Yeah, and if you want to hear from more ex-cult members, head over to Cults to Consciousness. I absolutely love her. If you're not listening to Shalise, she does such a great job with her interviews, and she covers a wide range of people. And I also love Knitting Cult Lady. Knitting Cult Lady's first book, Uncultured, is incredible. She also has her new book drop. I think it's October, right? Does anyone else follow Daniela? I'll text her and just make sure, and I'll post about that when that book drops. But the new one, she started writing long before Trump even said that he was going to run for office again. And it's The Culting of America. And just the little bit that I've already seen of the book is mind-blowing how relevant her work is. Daniela was in the military and she was a cult expert. So she learned about cults like as she was going into other countries and stuff, so that she could recognize that totalitarian leadership and the way that people would interact within these high demand, like little, what do they call them? I don't know, pods. That's not the word for them. So she was also a cult baby like me. I was Mormon and she was the Children of Christ, right? I never remember things when I'm on live. I swear. Words just like leak out of my brain. So anyway, Knitting Cult Lady knows so much. Here, Sahar, I'm going to go ahead and block this because I don't want to see any information about the LDS Church, especially not when I'm on live. So groups are good, but not when you have a leader that triangulates you against other humans. So yeah, groups are great. High demand groups are not great at all. As long as I'm allowed to take away whatever message I feel like it's giving to me and not being evangelized to. But Debbie, you're always being evangelized to. And churches really want two things from you. They want your labor. They want you to run the Sunday school, and they want you to bring kids to the youth group so that they can have camp and Bible study and things like that. So they want your labor, they want your money. And I don't feel like we need any of that. If there was a God, I'm an atheist. Okay, let me catch up with comments. Oh my gosh, here, sorry. I wasn't scrolling fast enough. Thanks for the super chat. My face started cracking the day a Sunday school teacher told me dogs don't have souls and my girl isn't waiting in heaven for me. Oh, that's so sad. I'm sorry. Thanks, Debbie. Didn't realize there was so much hate on the right until recently. So, Callie, I left the Mormon church in 2018. And the first thing I did within just a couple months was I got on TikTok and I started telling people about the hate on the right. I have done thousands of videos. I have done articles. I have done interviews. I have like 4 documentaries where I've been, and the funny thing is, like, being in the ex-Mormon community, there's thousands of us in the ex-Mormon community. We've all been screaming, you guys, like, they look nice on the outside, but these people are the religion itself, not the people. The doctrines of the religion are hateful. They teach hate. It's so destructive. It's like a parasite in our human societies. And nobody listened until Trump got into office. Trump gets in office, MAGA goes nuts, and now everybody's like, wow, look at all the hate on there. And it's like, we in the post-religious community, those of us who have left behind these organizations, we have been screaming about it for years. Nobody cared. Nobody listened. Now everybody says it. Now they're like, oh, yeah, oh, we've all been screaming about it. As an atheist European, I don't understand why gay people can't be married. Yeah, why all the hate on gay people? They're always the boogeyman right now. Shanna Harris, I started a little homeless cooperative. So I just got my own nonprofit. I call it Neighbors Without Walls. And I found a couple of unhoused young adults close to me, and I've done this for years. So I just do like 2 or 3 people at a time. And I actually help them with some of their basic needs. So weekly groceries and some transportation to different things, and making sure that they have bikes, making sure that they have access to some medical care and some dental care and things like that. And I just have a few friends, and we just help these 2 young men. So that's one thing that you can do. I'm sure that there's all kinds of organizations that you can work for. I love that you want to do so much. I don't think a lot of us feel safe right now, so we have to fight back against that. Deconstruction is really scary and tough, especially when you're surrounded by people that make you feel, yep. Oh, that feeling like the odd one out. There's like a word for it, right? The black sheep. And I have heard my family members use the word black sheep. Jenny is the black sheep. Oh, no, I haven't seen here. Let me make a note of that. Well, I mean, I've seen Critical Race History Channel. You mentioned your videos and channel. Could you please do a review of his review about you? Interesting. Yep. I know. People keep sending me videos about me, and I just don't have time for it. Okay, Critical Race. Let me make a note. And I have blown out my video or my vocal cords taping all day. Critical Race channel. Okay. So I'm going to have to hop off in just a minute. It was funny when I left the Mormon church, I started listening to this. I don't know where she was. I think she was like Duke University professor. She was a genetics professor. And just like randomly one day I was scrolling through Facebook, and it's like not pastor, professor blah 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 from like Duke University live. And I was like, huh, weird. So she was talking about genetics, and I had been a white supremacist my whole life, right? And she started talking about blonde hair, blue eyes, and how that everybody used to be brown, and like white people are this brand new thing on the genetic timeline. And my mind was absolutely blown. I was like, wait a minute, but Adam and Eve were white. And I think I actually wrote that in her comments because I was still Christian. I was like, but Adam and Eve were white. And she's like, oh, honey, are you one of my students? I think that you're in the wrong class. Anyway, Thanks for subscribing, because you helped me get to 100K, which I never thought was possible. Oh, I love that. Okay. You're making a difference and inspire me to reactivate my activism. You guys, it's time for all of us to reactivate our activism. It's nice to protest. It's nice to like participate in the No Kings and stuff. But the number one thing that we can do is build stronger communities, support local businesses, pull the rug out from under the billionaires. Email your senators, vote, 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 vote. Somebody sign a petition and let's impeach Trump. So many have been taught only the strong man is able to protect them. And Tyler, yep, that's what I thought. Oh my gosh. Sending depraved love and toxic empathy to Portland. I love that. What can we do to help Portland? If you read or study other religions, it can force you to reanalyze. Yep, absolutely. My granddad had a saying for that. If you walk a mile in somebody else's shoes. Okay, I'm clicking on the same things again and again. Oh, thank you so much for the super chat. 5 Alarm, you're so great to me. You spoil me. This is from one former Mormon to another that no longer live with those blinders on. Thank you. Yeah, the blinders are wild. Are my comments just repeating? Is that what's happening? Thank you for the super chat. Dems have been the party of non-liberal corporation or corporatism since Carter in the 70s. They got to go back to being the party of the working class. So I have been reaching out to every single senator, like literally stacks of emails to my senators, to so many senators across the country. I just want to rebrand the Democratic Party. I have a brand for the Democratic Party. I've been working on branding because I'm an influencer. That's what I do. I'm a content creator and I'm creating content. I want the Democratic Party that I want. I want it to be we the people. Like we are us. We are the United States. Bring me your tired, you're poor. This land is your land. This land is my land. I want America as a melting pot back again. And I want it to be the true American dream for everybody, not just for the rich people. And that should be the focus. All of our policies, everything that we are spending money on, all of our objectives. Yeah, we have to have a military and we have to be strong in the world, but let's stop focusing so much on defense. Let's stop causing wars that we then have to try to put out. Let's make America strong again for everybody. Childhood poverty shouldn't be at 39%. Everybody that I know struggles, like literally just paycheck to paycheck to keep up. That's how I have lived since my divorce and since leaving the church. We shouldn't live like that. We have way too much in America, in the world, for all of us to be struggling to keep up. So yeah, I agree. It's time for the Democratic Party. Okay, you guys, funny story before I hop off here. So I've been reaching out and I've had people like, okay, I work in Gavin Newsom's blah, blah, blah. And I think that I can put you in touch with him because I've been trying to like get a hold of Gavin Newsom so that I can advise him, right? I have some advice for Gavin Newsom as a former MAGA white supremacist, whatever. So this morning I was still in bed, but I was kind of scrolling through my phone and this pops up in my phone. Okay, hold on. It's backwards. Jennifer, it's California Governor Gavin Newsom. And I was like, oh my God, right? But no, it's just a generic text. And for a split second, I was like, somebody finally put me in touch with Gavin Newsom. And then I got another one at 11:23 this morning. Jennifer, are you ignoring texts? Governor Gavin Newsom just reached out personally for the 3rd time. It wasn't personally. He was just sending me a survey. Such a tease. Such a tease. Yeah, those houses were insane. And I didn't used to think that they were insane. Okay, let me catch up with some comments. I love the musical The Book of Mormon, and I used to hate it. Like I thought it was like so horrible. Hello, Seattle, Washington. If anybody wants to see my Cults to Consciousness, just go into the YouTube search bar, search Cults to Consciousness, Jenny Gage. I did a pretty good job. She has a 2-part interview with me of just like trying to tell my growing up Mormon and all the bad things that happened with that. And then my marriage to my Mormon husband that I was forced to marry and then leaving the church and things like that. So I have been looking at moving out of the USA, and we've been talking about it. I've definitely been looking at it really hardcore and researching good places to go, but I have a grandbaby here. I have kids here. I have nieces and nephews, and I am not about to let Donald J. Trump and all of his followers destroy this beautiful country. So I'm here to fight. I'm in it to win it. I'm spreading toxic love everywhere and doing my part. That's why I'm here. Yeah, I could actually be happily living somewhere else. I don't know, Mexico. I have a couple. Yeah, Finland looks amazing. So my only problem with Finland is that I'm an Arizona girly and I like my sunshine, and Finland is really cold. So that's one of my problems. It's like everywhere I go, either I'd have to learn a new language, like Italy. Wouldn't that be amazing? But I don't know if I can learn Italian. I'm old. It would be hard for me to speak Italian. Yeah, Slovenia would be a good choice. But isn't it funny? Okay, there have been so many comments. I don't know if you guys have paid attention to how many comments there have been from like my generation of people, right? Like the grandmas, the 40 somethings, the 50 somethings, the 60, 70 somethings, who are like, we've never seen this crap ever, except for like the World War II people, right? The World War II people, they definitely saw it. But in my generation, I was born in 1974. I have never seen the world unravel like this. Thank you, Donald J. Trump. And his little sidekick, Batman Jr., JD Vance. I think everyone's protesting on October 18th, right? Okay, everyone, if you haven't heard of the AEGIS Discord, join us. We have several content creators that you can reach out to directly. Yeah, I'm joining this week, so that's top of it's one of my top priorities tomorrow. So you guys write that down if you're not on Discord yet. Many MAGA preach about a civil war, but can't explain who the enemy will be. They just say the left. So anyone who disagrees will be targeted. Yes. So when I was MAGA, I believed that anybody who wasn't Mormon definitely was my enemy. Anybody who was liberal, anybody who was democratic, anyone who was a feminist, gay people, atheists, Buddhists, Jews, Muslims, definitely Baptists, 100%, Catholics. Did I say Baptists twice? Mormons and Baptists, like they've always just been like, you know, anybody who is non-white, because I was a white supremacist. So I believed that America had been preserved for my European ancestors. That was a teaching in the Book of Mormon. That was a teaching in my religion. So basically anybody who wasn't me, my family, my community, my religion, I wanted them gone. Project 2025, all of these guys behind Erica Kirk, Turning Point, they want only like-minded people in American leadership. And that's what they're doing. So everybody should read the Book of Mormon. If you haven't read the Book of Mormon, and you guys, let's be there for our Mormon friends and neighbors, because I have so much sympathy for people who've been in cults, who've been brainwashed. I was the victim of childhood indoctrination. I have a video that I'm going to drop when I get off tonight about racism and how I was literally turned into a little racist as a toddler. I am not mad at people who are MAGA. I'm not mad at people who are part of these groups, because they were indoctrinated, most of them from childhood, and then they're little new kids being indoctrinated right now. That's what Charlie Kirk was doing. He was going into colleges to young vulnerable people who were just forming their personalities and making sure what side they were on. That's another good book to read too, is Charlie Kirk's book. If you guys want to know what's going on, then go read Charlie Kirk's book. The one about how to beat the woke and win the West, I think is what it's called. What's the title? Anybody know? Imperial Japan isn't covered enough. They were incredibly ruthless and racist until, yeah, there have been a lot of human civilizations. Isn't that kind of the pattern? Like we build these huge patriarchal civilizations, and then we all start competing for resources. That's what's happening in America right now. We are competing for resources. The rich, wealthy, powerful, mostly men in charge of the world, want all the resources, and they're competing with us. They're competing with us for all of the resources. And then we get brutal and we get violent, and usually ends in like not very well, right? It never ends well. Okay, I'm going to read one or two more comments, and then I have to hop off. Kind of offended by Christianity, but I actually love Jesus and everything he said. Yeah, so here's what you do. Here's how I think we save Christianity. And I'm working on 3 books. One of them is a Bible. I'm an atheist. I'm rewriting the New Testament, just the Jesus part. Red letter Christianity. We cut out the Old Testament, we throw it in the garbage. So many problems solved. Jesus dies, we cut out that. Paul, Peter, Revelation, all that. If we stripped Christianity, and again, I'm an atheist, I don't have a dog in this fight. If we stripped Christianity down to the philosophy of Yeshua, it would change the world. Somebody start that church. I don't know. Potato. Is it not as made up as the Book of Mormon? An ascended master. I love that. Jesus spoke Aramaic, a very different language, which translates what he actually said beautifully. Yeah, so let's do this. Let's cut out the Old Testament because it's horrible. Let's cut out everything after Jesus dies. If you're a Christian, just stay out of the Old Testament, okay? Stay out of church. Just focus on what the Rabbi Yeshua said. Changes the world. Yeah, Constantine was not great for Christianity. That is for sure. Ex-Catholic, my mom threatened to stop paying for my college when I was becoming an atheist. That was one of my world-rocking moments. She was willing to sabotage me for going atheist. Joy. I left the Mormon church in 2018. I have not seen my mom, my dad, my brothers, my sisters, nieces, nephews, cousins, aunts, uncles, anybody since 2018. Have not seen my parents. I have hundreds of family members. It's like my entire family was on this tour bus that drove off a cliff. Like that's what happened in my life. My children don't have grandparents because I left the Mormon church. That's what religion does to people. Okay, one more super chat, and then I gotta go. Five on fire, you were so good to me. The email you sent me, if you'd like to chat tonight, I'm available. Okay, I'm gonna have to hop off and go pick up my son, but I will be available tomorrow morning. Are you available tomorrow morning? If so, reach out to me. I'm not sure how much time I'll have tonight, but definitely tomorrow I have some time. All right, you guys. Yeah, this is live now. Gloria, I'm actually on live. Okay, I have 3 lives coming up this week. I will be on with the incredible Robert Arnold. Everybody asks me like who my inspiration is. I listen to Robert Arnold every single day. There's not a day that I don't listen to Robert Arnold. I also listen to the Secular Buddhist podcast. I love Oprah Super Soul. And then I love, I don't know, just a whole bunch of random books and stuff. Robert Arnold will be going live with me this week. I will be on with the Public Defender again. We're going to be breaking down some of the BS that's going on right now in America. And then I'll be on with the congressional candidate who is vying for J.D. Vance's old seat. So J.D. Vance, when he became the vice president, he vacated a seat. There was an interim person put in. There's a special election coming up. So Christopher Volpe, the incredible Christopher Volpe, will be coming on live with me. And I will be dropping an interview that I did with him tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. I have to say that talking to Chris and some of the other politicians, I've talked to political candidates all over America. I've talked to some senators and other political leaders across America. So many people have reached out to me and had private conversations about things that are going on in the Democratic Party and also in the Republican Party. I've had some Republican candidates reach out to me and talk to me. I have so much hope for America. This one guy is getting all of the attention right now because he has all of the power, and that's terrifying. So we can't stop fighting. But there are incredible people who want to do good things with our country. Chris Volpe, my interview with him, literally I walked away just with hope that somebody like this wants to run for Senate, that he cares so much for all of the people around him and has such a vision for our country moving forward, gave me a lot of hope. So, and he's just a school teacher. He's a school teacher who's decided to run for J.D. Vance's old seat. So I'll drop that tomorrow. Okay, guys. I think, do I speak any other languages? Я изучала русский язык в колледже, но я не хорошо понимаю. I took Russian in college. Let's see, I went to college in 1992 to 1994. I studied at a Mormon college. It's now called BYU Idaho. Back in the day, it was Rick's College. And my major was Russian. I had a political science minor. And then I got married and became a trad wife and never finished my degree. I just got my associate's degree. So I majored in Russian and I spoke Russian fairly fluently for years, but I just haven't used it forever. Yeah, thank you guys for helping me get to my 100,000. I was shocked. Agency Lamont in Los Angeles, they were repping a few Newsom accounts in the California Endowment. All right, guys, here's your homework for this week. Your homework for this week is email your congresspeople. Just Google, if you don't know what district you're in, impeach Trump, Epstein files. And I mean, just generally, I'm really terrified for the direction that America is going in. And I need you to fight for me. Universal healthcare, whatever your hot topic is. I'm worried about handicap cuts. I have families who, I have another ex-Mormon content creator friend who has just lost her home because her very low functioning autistic son usually gets lots of support, and Donald Trump cut that 3 months ago. So she just lost her home. Whatever that thing is, whatever that hot topic is that you want to talk to your congresspeople about, let's start putting the pressure on our congresspeople. Another homework assignment, take a little bit of money out of your personal. I know that none of us, like I never have extra money. Take a little bit of money out of your personal finances, even if that's like $10 or $20, and do something for somebody else. One thing that I was doing for a while was I had two single moms. They each had, one of them had one kid, one of them had two little kids. And it was like $40 a week or something to do the HelloFresh meal box. I'm not sponsored by HelloFresh. I know that there's a lot of other meal delivery options, and they both appreciated it a ton. It got delivered to their doorstep. It was really easy to prepare. And it was just a way for me to literally just help another single woman. I had been a single mom for a while, and it was a nightmare. That's just an easy thing to do. Find a single mom, help her out, tip a little bit more generously at the restaurant. Find an organization that you can volunteer with. Let's start building back our tribe, start building back our communities. Grandparents, get back in your grandkids' lives. If you're a grandparent, that's your homework. Be there for each other. Do something socially with your neighbors this week. I don't know, have a barbecue, do a potluck. You don't have to spend the money on it, but get to know people. Let's get off our phones. Let's get off of YouTube. I'll hang up here in a second. And let's actually get out there and make the world a better place. It's up to us, right? Yeah, single moms need so much help. Yeah, call your representatives, do whatever else you need. Okay, if I were to ask you write down word for word what you've seen him say, you can likely only give me, okay, sorry. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out. I think that I'll see you next Tuesday or Wednesday night with Robert Arnold. And thanks, everybody. I appreciate you so much. Don't be discouraged. We've got this. Be afraid. Get out there, work. Let's make the world a little bit better place, because it's not going to fix itself. But don't be discouraged. Have hope. You guys give me hope. Thanks, guys. Bye.